We're live this week on the Metal Lab. We're joined by Devon once again, who's been a wonderful, wonderful co-host, helping us through the holiday season while everybody's been a little bit busy.
Hello.
And returning from work furlough, I guess we'll call it, or work busyness, Mike.
Hi, everybody.
Absent this week will be Tom and Jay. Hopefully they'll hit us for next week, because next week will be our year in review episode, and that will kind of bring us to the end of the year for the Metal Lab. So we'll be done until January, and most of what we'll be doing will be bothering the patrons in our patron Discord and whatnot. How's your week been at Heroclix, guys? Mike.
It was okay. I got to actually play a game yesterday, Sunday. I always forget that yesterday was Sunday, but of course it is. This is Monday. Crazy. It's funny how that works. It was a game of 401. It was a 600-point golden event, and because the prizing was Green Lantern recharged or whatever they're calling it, the event parameters were basically just 600-point golden, no resources. But if you played a Lantern theme team or Indigo Tribe, or you know where I'm going.
Yep.
If you played any of those themes, then you got a special bonus. And what the special bonus you found out when you got to the event was that your first theme prob of each turn didn't come with a token. So it still it came out of your total. So if you had 5 theme probs, you'd use it to go down to 4, but you didn't have to get a token for it. So it was great to have somebody who was double tokened who could use that theme prob, or someone you wanted to leave available to do an action so you didn't have to use that token. So it was a nice little benefit. I decided that I was going to build around a figure. I wanted to play the Kyle Rayner con exclusive. He's not crazy special or anything. He's the one who's got the exploit weakness and Pensai traded, plus when he hits it's -1 to attack and damage, I think it is, or attack and defense, one or the other. And he had some other little thing about him, also the trait which basically says that he has all the keywords, all the Lantern keywords, right? And Indigo Tribe and yada, yada, yada. Which is why I kind of was thinking of building around him, because he could be any of those things. So I ended up actually making a Green Lantern core team, more so because it was a Golden Age event. I thought, hey, let's use an ATA. Woo! For those who may be young. That's an additional team ability, which actually originally was an alternate team ability. Funny that they even had to rename that. Why? Who knows?
Because they never got rid of the first team ability. That's why.
Yeah, it's WizKids. So anyway, I thought that would be fun. So I used the Green Lantern Honor Guard, which can be good if you can get multiple attacks in, because the nice part is you don't actually have to hit with the attack to get the +1, and the +1 is stackable, obviously up to rule of 3. So I played Kyle Rayner. I played Kingdom Come Green Lantern, but I actually played him at full points because I realized I have actually never played that figure at 170 points. I've only ever played him as the 30-point fill-in piece, because I love the 9 range perplex that sees through everything, and he's mystical. So I've put him on a ton of mystical teams using him at 30 points, and I thought, you know what? Old man in a chair, you deserve to be on a team at full points. And again, this was a casual game, so I was less worried about that perplex. Though I say that as though putting a figure with a 12 attack, 20 defense is somehow, oh, he's so horrible. Why did I do that?
Careful of the glass cannon, Mike.
Right? Yeah. So
20 isn't the same as it used to be.
Yeah, fair, exactly. And we'll get to that, let me tell you. So I had the Kyle Rayner, I had him. So that's 170 points for each of them. So I'm spending most of my points there. Then I went with Jessica Cruz, Super Rare from Rebirth, because I haven't played her yet. I got her in a trade from somebody, and I was like, I should use her. And she was kind of interesting because if you can carry somebody with her, then you get free TK. So I thought there were fun ways to manipulate some TK stuff, especially if you TK a figure up, and then Jessica Cruz carries somebody up, and then free TK is the character that was already moved up a bit. You get more range out of it. You know what I'm saying? It's a fun little, something. And I wanted to try stuff out. And then I went old school back to War of Light. And I cannot say her name. What is it? Sornak. Right to I can't even say
I don't even know if that's even close.
I gotta look it up now. Damn it! And my HC Realms was acting up on me.
Not Cat Matui, is it?
No. The one who has the trait where you get a +1. Kyle Rayner and her get a +1 attack. Plus she can TK and support.
Sinestro's daughter.
Yeah.
Whatever her name is.
Exactly, whatever her name is. It's like Soren Knack at some or other. Okay, I'm finally into HC Realms. Sorry, everybody.
That's all right. You've now got like 3 viruses on your computer.
Yeah, probably, but that's okay. This is my Mac, which I never use.
Sora Nick Natu.
Hello, I was not that far off.
Not bad.
Yeah,
that was actually pretty good. Yeah, Sora Nick Natu. Jeez, man, that was crazy. That was pretty good. Anyway, so I threw her on here obviously because I wanted to give Kyle a +1. So I'm thinking +1 next to her. The Green Lantern Honor Guard to get more pluses, so he could get some big attacks like 13, 14 attacks. And then I filled it out with good old Canadian Al Jordan. We know how much we love him, and I haven't played him in a long time, so I thought it'd be fun. And pretty much every turn, I just have him perplex up Kyle's damage. That way, it's a +2, so he's got a 6 damage. Sometimes 13 attack, sometimes 14 attack. Felt like fun, right? That sounds like fun.
Super casual.
Yeah, it's casual. It's casual. But it is a 600-point build. So to be fair, right? There's going to be other beat stick stuff that's out there.
After you get past 300, nothing makes sense and nothing is fair.
Exactly. So, and lucky for me, my first round matchup was against Devon, the Canadian champion, who, another thing Devon's really good at is beating me. He does it professionally. And he does it casually as well.
He did it to win Canadian Nationals.
He did it to win Canadian Nationals. He did it in the Swiss. He did it in the finals. He does it on the weekends. Yeah, Devon beats me a lot. I love that kid. He's my nemesis right now. So anyway, he played a Thunderbolts team, and anybody who knows Devon knows that the thing he does best is he turns teams into ones that somehow always seem to have like a 14 attack. Like, I don't know what it is, but he number crunches perfectly, and it's always like, oh, so that 20 defense we were talking about being not so juicy. Yeah, it's especially not so juicy when he throws Kobik on his Thunderbolts team, and he takes away my Kingdom Come team ability, and I don't get any benefit from being in hindering because I still have the Kingdom Come trait. So all of the crap with none of the good. And he murders Green Lantern in one turn. Oh, actually, no. The funniest part of the whole matchup was we roll for map. Devon wins map. He asked me, hey, did you bring maps? Because there's the map box there. I'm like, yeah, I brought all the maps. I also just happened to bring the Ontario Rock provincial map. He's like, sure, let's use that. I'm like, yeah, why not? I don't know how much blocking is on this map. I find out very quickly on my range-based team of Green Lanterns.
Oh, no.
So, yeah. So I had to shoot a wall at one point. I killed Atlas pretty early. And then, yeah, he murdered Green Lantern. Then I proceeded to miss a whole whack of attacks. Then he murdered Kyle. Al Jordan did a surprising bunch of stuff. And at one point in time, it was just Al Jordan and Jessica Cruz, and I actually ran away with them. He came after me, and I managed to kill off 2 more pieces from his team, running away with those 2 figures, which was really weird. But Devon still won, again, because that's what Devon does when we play each other. The last time I beat Devon was actually at a WKO, and we both were really sick. So that's really the key, is I have to give him the plague right before we play a game, and then I win out because somehow I function better ill. It's like my normal operating parameters or something.
Don't mess with us sick old people. We know how to deal with it.
Yeah, I work in film, so I'm used to working feeling like a bag of ass. So my second round game was against Emily? Yeah, my second round game was against Emily. Emily made a Red Lantern core team, which is fun and all, and I'm glad she did. I love the Red Lanterns. I thought about making them. But with the very limited ranges they had and the crazy ranges I had, plus the... I forgot to mention, sorry. I threw the incandescent ring and the... damn it. I forgot the name of it now. Daemonic ring on my team. So I would give Daemonic to Kyle so he could ignore the hindering. And I would give I gave incandescent to old man Green Lantern there, because a 12 attack with energy explosion seems like a lot of fun, especially penetrating. So that's part of what happened in my game with Emily. She picked the she actually won map, which was really funny.
Emily won a map roll?
Yeah, she won a map roll. Because she had a theme team for once, right?
No.
Yeah, Red Lantern Corps. So she picked the WWE backstage map. I don't think she really sort of focused on it. What's really funny about that map is it so completely reminds me of the Infinity Challenge time period map pack. Do you remember the old early maps and how basic they were? It was like this really basic office with a couple of walls and a couple of hindering.
The terrain wasn't printed or anything.
Yeah. Well, this map looks so much like that to me. It really, really reminds me of that map. It was a very classic map, but it's very simple and there's not a lot of places to hide. Emily moved her team up, and at one point in time, she had, I think, like 6 of them all together with Troscus in the middle. And since I didn't want her team to be doing 2 damage penetrating poison on my team, I decided to energy explode him. And that did a bunch of damage to everybody around him. And then Kyle ran up and hit him for 6 and eradicated him. So that was pretty much how the game went in general, is I would just do big hits with my guys and take out her guys as they tried to move across the map. And it was a pretty one-sided match. And then my last game was against Richard Evans, local player, and he basically made a wrestling team, which is actually very effective. I never thought I would see the wrestling guys be as good as they are, but honestly, the grand entrance is huge. That whole not being able to target them with ranged attacks and can't outwit them on that first click. It's you kind of sit there going, what am I supposed to do for the first couple of turns as he moves up the map? Because I'm not just going to run out, and I can't run out and shoot, right? And my team has 2 guys with running shot. I have no hypersonic. So I essentially have to wait until he's within range to actually TK somebody next to somebody and do it. Or do the Jessica Cruz trick, which is ultimately what I ended up doing, is I would TK'd Kyle forward with Al Jordan, and then he was tiny size so that Jessica could carry him, and then free TK Kyle a little bit more. I threw Kyle right into the ring next to a whole bunch of wrestlers, And yeah, I had a 14 attack and 6 damage, and I missed. And I used Steam Prob, and I missed. And I used Steam Prob again, and I missed. And I thought about throwing dice, and I was really happy the game didn't mean anything, and it was a casual Sunday because, wow, that was painful. But then, funnily enough, he didn't manage to kill Kyle. He put Kyle onto the poison click. So then Kyle poisoned half the guys who were next to him, so that now suddenly they weren't on their first click anymore. And my Green Lantern in the chair can suddenly start energy exploding people. So that's what started happening. So Kyle somehow managed to live. He got put to his stop click. He had poisoned a bunch of more people, and then I just phase teleported away with him to keep him alive. And I kept blasting people with between Al Jordan and KC Green Lantern, and managed to win the game. So I went 2-1. I think I finished second on the day. Again, didn't really matter. It was a casual day. It was kind of fun. And afterwards, actually, Emily and I managed to get a sort of practice game in for 300-point Modern. I have a team I'm tinkering with, and I've just been really chomping at the bit to just actually play one game with it. And Emily pulled out her Vulture team that we all know so well. And I said, okay, well, let's see if this team can do anything against the Vulture team. And there have been some rulings that do make it a little bit easier to deal with Vulture, like the fact that you can TK object attack nobody and score the object, which is what I did really right out of the gate, and a couple of other little things like that. And so I did manage to actually beat her team in terms of time when the timer went, but we played it straight out. We played it until literally there were no figures left because, it was practice, but it was also fun. So she won overall because Lockjaw is brutal long-term against the team that I had. But anyway, it was fun. So I got to have a whole bunch of Heroclix yesterday, and that is great because I feel like I haven't played in forever, and I keep looking at my nicely organized garage now that's finally nicely organized, and I just want to play Heroclix like all the time. I want to play Wrestling Heroclix so bad. I still can't believe it. Jason Collins, I hate you so much. So that's my week at Heroclix.
Devon, how's your week been?
Good. That's it. No, I'm just kidding. I played
the antithesis.
Yeah. I judged Thursday nights last week. We were originally planning to play with some unpainted X-Men. Unfortunately, that did not come in. One of the store owners went in for surgery for a hernia, so he's the one in charge of ordering, so that didn't go through. So we kind of just made do. I had the 4 people that showed up play Skirmish, so I got some feedback I can send to WizKids, I guess, if they want feedback on Skirmish. It went okay. Pulse Wave is very, very good in that format, I should say. Almost like they should adjust the rules of how many points you can score, or victory points you can score off of a Pulse Wave in like a 4-player game. For people that haven't tried Skirmish yet, to win Skirmish, you need, in a 3 or 4-player game, you need 20 victory points. And for every click of damage your opponent's figures take, you score a victory point. And you can imagine when you have a cluster of like 10 or more figures on the map, and one figure has Pulse Wave, and that person rolls a crit hit, then the game's done that fast. This was like 10 minutes in.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder if they can compensate without necessarily penalizing Pulse Wave by not allowing very wide open maps. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I would almost say cap the number of victory points you can earn off of a single attack.
That's a
like
pretty...
4.
Yeah, that's
4
probably a
seems
good blanket way to do it.
Yeah. Especially for like clustered multiplayer games. But we ended up playing 2 rounds of Skirmish before everyone left. They had fun with it. One round we tried the rolling 2d10s to determine the random starting area placements The other, I just had them place their special markers on the map for starting area placements, and then the following marker that could be placed on the skirmish map had to be at least 3 squares away from the previous one. They seem to enjoy the random one better, even though there's some. It takes a little bit longer with all the dice rolling at the start, but the setup's fun once you get through it. Then on Sunday at another venue in Omaha, I played a similar Green Lantern type event. Only this time it was 400 points Golden Age, and the catch was at the beginning of each turn, both players or one player rolls one die, and if you get an even number, you then proceed to roll 2d6, and then a random War of Light ring generates on the map. So the War of Light rings worked the same way as from War of Light. Yellow give you perplex at minus values. Blue gave you positive values. Red was penetrating poison. Then when these were generated on the map, your opponent had to place them 3 squares away from any figure on the map, and you could go equip them like normal equipment. So that was pretty fun. It was just a casual night. There's a dad and his kid, and then Simeon Bruce from Dial H for HeroClix showed up. First and second round, I played the dad and his kid, one after another. They're pretty new to the game, so there's a lot I didn't do with my team. I should mention my team was a celebrity-themed team with Mojo, Baby Doll with the Earth-X Daredevil, because they work well together, and then The Rock, Macho Man Randy Savage, and John Cena. So I did some signature moves later on. The funnest game of that Sunday night was came to the last round against Simeon Bruce, Dial H for HeroClix. He decided to play a poison-heavy team with the Ellie Gambit, the Dark Knight Rises Joker, ton of poison pieces, right? The Mr. Sinister Danger Room construct. Poison hurts WWE a lot, but what was even funner was we just were allowed to grab random maps from the box, and I pulled out this Star Trek Tactics map where you're in space and there's walls in the middle of the map that are set up much like the underground, except they work like doors, like before doors were a thing. The catch with the orange text on the map, though, says if you pass through these walls, you take 1 unavoidable damage for every wall you pass through. So when the Rock slingshots you through 2 walls, you take an extra 2 damage. I proceeded to die instantly because poison against WWE, it's not good. It hurts a lot.
Fair enough.
It was a fun day.
Awesome.
That's all I got.
I mean, mine was strictly judging because unfortunately we had an even number of players show up. Amber and Alexis were playing along with the father-son duo, the newer father-son duo who've been playing at Dolly's. I didn't get a chance to play in the bye, unfortunately. I was ready to go with the Ghost Rider Hulk thing, the Red Hulk. I don't remember. The Red Hulk Ghost Rider with a monster themed team with him and Belphegor and Dr. Frankenstein and a ghost. Would have been fun. Didn't get a chance to use it. Oh well.
The Circle of 4 or whatever.
Yeah. The one
yeah,
that goes
Red Hulk, Ghost Rider, Venom symbiote thing.
Everything in the Circle of 4 except for X-23 basically on a motorcycle. But that said, we have a touch of news. It's not really news as much as it is, hey, look at this stuff that got shown at PAX Unplugged. WizKids was present, but they were using it more as a marketing than as a tournament running environment, which makes a great deal of sense given the time of year that it falls on. It's a little bit of a rough time. And Memphis was great. So, that said, let us... I've shared the links with my friends in the chat here. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at it over here. So the first picture we have shows our first look at some of the stuff in Captain America and the Avengers, like our first kind of, hey, these exist. Now, these pictures come courtesy of Dial H for HeroClix. So they were kind of in present, snapped a couple pics. There's an Atlas. Obviously, we can see him. Big dude. So big old giant Atlas. And I love that the packs are right next to him for anybody who has questions about whether or not he'll fit. Pack for scale. In the back left there, that's actually an Ultron. So and it looked like it was a Chase Ultron. Up at the front, it's I can never remember his name. but it is a Captain America, but not the Captain America. The African American Captain America, whose name escapes me, unfortunately.
Muted. I was muted. It's Isaiah Bradley.
Isaiah Bradley. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry. I kept saying it, but of course I was muted.
I figured you're either chewing or talking to me. I wasn't sure which. In the front center, there's an absorbing man. We'll probably get another pick at this. I'm not sure if the third pick shows a better or the second pick, but
Second pick.
Okay. In the back there, we have Cap Falcon returning, a similar model, but cool. I mean, it was a cool model in the first place. And the front right,
that's Ultron.
That's Ultron. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's two Ultrons?
Next to Atlas was
Mach 5 is
it's Mach 5.
Mach
Yeah,
5.
Mach 5.
Yeah.
It looks to me, if you look in the other picture, you get a better angle on it.
Yeah. Okay, there it is. Yeah. There's Mach 5 right there.
The Absorbing Man and the Ultron both look like they've got the effects base there.
Welcome back.
Now, I think they also look like they're chase figures.
So we could have a Chase Masters of Evil set.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I think it's a Masters of Evil chase set because it's looking like the Thunderbolts are the super rares. Because you've got a Mach 5 super rare there and an Atlas super rare, so it wouldn't be a surprise in a Captain America based Avengers set that Masters of Evil chases, and maybe they all have effects bases.
Maybe. You had an Ultra Chase with an effect base. Ultra Chase effect base.
Yeah, that's hard. That's hard to say.
Yeah. Ultra Chase effect base? Yep. Nope. That just didn't roll off my tongue at all. I kind of stumbled out like a drunk man.
But it'd be interesting to see. I'm happy for Thunderbolts. That's cool. I dig the Thunderbolts, and I love villains. I love having villain options.
Yeah.
It is sculpt reuse on the Falcon, but I am glad at least it's only a rare.
Yeah.
That's fine for a rare. Like new player, you get a good sculpt for a rare.
They've made Isaiah Bradley before, but I think they even resculpted or like they get a new sculpt for this one. So
yeah, that looks like a new Isaiah.
I feel like the choice to keep Cap Falcon the way he looked was just a situation of it looks so damn good. Why would we change it? You know what I mean?
Totally.
Yeah. Like
that one I don't mind. When they advertised like the generic Shield people, I was like, I already have a lot of Shield people, but this one was fine reuse.
Yeah. All right. So we see the deep cuts in the background there, and those look like the same ones we're already familiar with. But the third picture here gives us a good look at some of the stuff we're going to see in Justice League Unlimited. So we have from left to right in the front there, Ultra Humanite, Lex Luthor, a primed Batman, and yes, this Batman is holding a microphone. It's karaoke Batman. Wonder Woman, Joker, Jon Stewart, Martian Manhunter. We have Solomon Grundy in the back middle. Top right there, we see the Wonder Twins, and then the top left, we see it looks like Black Manta, most likely from the Legion of Doom, because apparently the chase set in Justice League Unlimited is supposed to be the bad guys from the Super Friends. So, anything got you excited there, Devon? I know you're more of a DC fan.
All of it.
That's
for a while there, I didn't notice Black Manta until I looked at the second picture.
Yeah, he's kind of like laying down flat and swimming.
Yeah.
Oh, now I get it.
Yeah, if you open up the second picture, you can see him like swimming, sort of, I guess.
The real problem is they've made his helmet such a light purple.
Yeah.
That's what was throwing me off. To me,
I had looked at this picture all weekend trying to figure out who that guy was, and it wasn't until just now when I looked at the second Marvel picture where you see Black Manta spread out like that. At first, I thought this was like some kind of cat or something. Looking from the front. Yeah. But it's exciting. We got a Martian Manhunter super rare. End of this month, December, we'll have a LE Martian Manhunter. I've just missed Martian Manhunter a lot because he wasn't in the last Batman the Animated Series one. So we'll get to flesh out some teams. I'm curious because he's a super rare, I wonder if we get like a normal common one? I forget what was advertised in the Fast Forces, because if you look on the box art, you see the super rare has kind of like a snake body, right?
Yeah,
but the box art has legs,
like Superman punch almost thing going.
Yeah. Well, the one on the box art has actual legs. So, hey, more Martian Manhunter, why not? I love him.
I can't complain about that.
Sure, it's totally worth more. I'm excited for another Black Manta because I love Black Manta.
Yeah, I hope the villains work a lot like Trouble Alert or have some kind of variation on it.
Yeah, the opposite. If you've been hitting well, then they show up.
Yeah.
The worst. I'd be so busted.
See, I just want one day. I want the Skull Fortress. I mean, next ship. I want the Skull Fortress. It's like the only vehicle I actually have ever really wanted.
Meanwhile, in the Hall of
the-
Injustice.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I want it to
All
come
I
out of
want
a
is a
swamp,
decent pair of pants.
and then I want them to make a swamp map that interacts with this thing. Maybe just make it a special terrain. Maybe make me a Hall of Injustice special terrain. Do it.
The way they used Earth X Iron Man this year, where you had the Dyson Tokens pack, the Super Rare, and the map. If they did that for Justice League, that'd be sweet.
Yeah, do it. Want.
I know my daughter is going to be hyped. We've been getting her the new Wonder Twin series recently, so she should be pretty excited to get a chance to play with those. Maybe she'll let me use my wrestlers again. I'm not allowed to touch the lady wrestlers.
Gleek, 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 gleek.
Yeah, maybe a Gleek.
Yeah, I'll be curious what the
Maybe the Wonder Twins make a Gleek token.
Yeah, well, they're gonna have those team up cards in this set too that they haven't previewed anything for yet. So who knows how those will work?
Probably ID cards under a different name.
More than likely. Well, you'll need to. From the brief description I got from somewhere was like you get a bonus with the pointed card if you're playing 2 or more characters that are on the card together on your team.
Ah, gotcha. We'll see.
Batman, Superman, who knows?
Yeah.
Hopefully easy to follow because my gosh, do we have a lot of additional game elements?
Yeah, I was gonna say, more stuff that's off the map that I can forget about.
Yeah.
Hooray.
Yeah.
Hooray.
I'm excited to see what they do with Solomon Grundy again. They nailed him so well the last time they made Solomon Grundy.
You'll have a pair of pants equipment.
Maybe.
He wants pants
All
too.
he wanted was pants. All right. So our topic this week, because we need to come up with this, because WizKids is providing us with only this.
So they made a tweet last week saying they'd have a weekend announcement.
No, they said, wouldn't it be nice if we had a weekend announcement and put Edge and Christian
Oh.
on there?
Okay.
Trolling us extraordinaire. So that's why I put a Bubba Ray get the tables, because I wanted to put them through one. That said, we're going to look forward to 2020 just to fill out the last couple weeks here. Next week, we're going to talk about 2019 in review, but what do we want out of 2020 from WizKids and HeroClix? What do we want to see, that kind of stuff? Ideally, things we might not have, things that we'd like to see improved, things we'd like to, see them release or whatnot. So it's kind of been, I present it with the guys. I want to see what everybody comes up with. And I'm going to start with Mike. Mike, what do you want to see from HeroClix in 2020?
Oh man, it's an easy but hard question, I guess. I mean, all over the map on this one. I want to see another Moon Knight figure, obviously, because I love Moon Knight and I can never get enough of him. And I want another one. I want a playable one. I want one that I can turn into something meta. Give it to me. It's hard to say in terms of any kind of sets that I want, because I feel like we've had hot and heavy product coming out over this past year. I'm an X-Men fan, and I've got a whole bunch of X-Men that have come out, and they're currently legal until they finally retire Xavier's school. So I clearly don't need any X-Men stuff. We've got another Avengers set coming, so all that stuff is sort of there, and Captain America figures. It's like, I feel like there's something on the periphery of figures somehow out there, but I don't know what it is. So I can't say there's anything in that zone that I'm looking forward to. In terms of the game, I hope that WizKids streamlines a bit. I appreciate that they've it feels like they've tried a lot of things. There's almost like a surge in R&D going on with WizKids, and I appreciate them trying to keep things fresh and stuff like the skirmish and whatever. But at the same time, I feel like there's almost like too much going on the maps again, and things are getting complicated and messy on the map, and that I'm sort or beside the map more really is the thing. So that I would like to sort of be dealt with. But I am actually happy for the state of the game. I think I'm seeing lots and lots of people building lots of different things right now, and that's kind of exciting. And people are winning with all kinds of stuff right now, so that's exciting. So, though I do want to see a simplification going forward, it's not necessarily a major revamping of the game. I've been relatively happy about the game state as it is currently, which is funny because it feels like it was only maybe like 4 or 5 months ago where it didn't feel quite so much like that. Maybe it was just the Kobik saturation or something. I don't know, but
the pre-X-Men Dark Phoenix saga was really
X-Men Animated really brought a whole bunch of great stuff. I really enjoyed the set, and I love all the colossals and not colossals that you think are colossals. I should really call them multi-based figures because they are multi-based figures. They are not colossals, so many of them. So and for myself personally, I really hope that I get to continue to do some Clix traveling. I don't want to talk too much about this year because of the fact that that's what we're going to talk about next week. But I am happy for some successes, and I'm happy for some trips I've got to make this year. And they reminded me how much I enjoy the Clix community and meeting the players and making those friendships. So I really do hope that next year I'll be able to make the treks again. Definitely want to go to Worlds again. That was so much fun, and definitely I'm going to go to Canadian Nationals again because I've gone every year. And this year will be complicated. I know we always say we want to do better than we did last year. Well,
that means you have to win.
That's it. I have to win. So I don't want to put that kind of pressure on myself because I don't do well with that kind of pressure. But I do hope to go and have a good time again. Really hope to make top 8 again and do it my own way, as I always like to do. And just I really hope to get to play a lot of Clix and spend time with everybody next year. Those would be my all over the place sort of different wants for 2020.
Just gonna kind of go with the Wizard or the WizKids R&D here. Science.
yeah, right.
It didn't stick. All right, Devon, what are you looking forward to, or
kind of
happen?
Same sentiment that they could streamline the game a bit, either with looking at 300 Modern again, or just having the option for multiple types of formats. I almost feel like a condensed Modern would be a simpler format for new players to jump on board before hitting regular 300, because regular 300 Modern Age hits like almost 3.5 years of product sometimes, which can be a bit much when you have a new different additional game element in every set to follow. Because not only do we have ID cards, we have 4 different kinds of ID cards in Modern Age right now, on top of location bonuses, alternate additional terrain. What else?
Colossals,
title characters, prime characters,
equipment,
yeah, all this stuff to follow. And if they did something like what Magic used to do with like block tournaments, where you only played with the most recent 2 or 3 sets, I think that could have a following, or just supporting multiple formats overall. I feel like Pauper did fine for just having something else to do during the year. So I'd be looking forward to those types of changes if they happen. For what I'm actually looking forward to, for what's been announced, Justice League Unlimited, of course, for DC. We got Fantastic Four coming back. That is super exciting. I got a Doctor Doom again. We'll have Scott Porter preview it, and we'll actually get Doctor Doom instead of him just saying.
I'll fight. I will fight Scott Porter in the octagon, in a ring, whatever. I will fight Scott Porter for the first look at that. And they won't give it to me.
No, they won't. No, that was the funniest part of the Secret Wars Battle World unboxing. He was like, "Yeah, Doctor Doom. He'll have to be a super rare, right? Right, guys?"
That's fine.
No.
I'm fine.
No, no, baby, it did not come out then. But we got Fantastic Four coming out. I really hope they have the same magic going on that they did with Worlds this year, where we have a brand new set playing with Sealed, the World Championship. Graceland was a fine venue because we're only there for HeroClix. We get to be there late. It was really a perfect opportunity to play with new stuff, play some battle royales. I hope they finalize skirmish in some shape or form. Ideally, I'd see it as like a battle royale type replacement, not necessarily replacing any kind of competitive event, but it's fun for casual play. And yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to so far. We got at the tail end of things after Fantastic Four is the Maximum Carnage set, or is that Amazing Spider-Man set, where they got
Carnage or whatever.
Yeah, where they got to create their own characters. I'll be interested to see what those turn out to be like. But what I'm most looking forward to is DC and Fantastic Four coming back.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to next year either being the best year of my life or the worst year of my life, because I'm going to be playing Doctor Doom until I'm blind, regardless of how good he is. If he's a 300-point one-man army, I'm playing Doctor Doom for the year, guys. It was nice knowing my credentials.
Well, we should have at least 2 to choose from.
Yeah.
Because he'll be in the starter set, and then whatever the main set turns out to be.
Yeah, for sure.
But things I want out of next year, to be able to get out to tournaments. Oh God, I've barely played this game recently, and it shows a lot. I would like to see more out of the WWE stuff. Perhaps even going thematic with it. Take a series and just run with a theme. There's a lot of guys with face paint you could put into the next series of them if you want. The Legion of Doom, Finn Balor, Demon Balor. See, he kind of looks like this.
Sting.
Sting. The Ascension. Oh, okay, no, never mind. They just got fired.
Ultimate Warrior.
Tommaso Ciampa. He wore face paint for War Games, so. The Viking Raiders wear war paint. There we go. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff you could do with just guys who are face painted. And then do like a series of just tag team guys or something. I don't know. I would like to see a little bit more theming out of the sets, but I feel like because WWE has their hands in it, I'm praying for the moon on that one. So just Doctor Doom's and variants, and maybe a variant that makes Doom bots if you want to really make me happy. So don't stop letting me bring bystanders in. That's all I ask. Let me bring in bystanders. I don't care if they're good or bad, just let me do it. This has been a really good year for players. Just in general, WizKids has done a lot for us as players, while trying to make the game as in like the competitive scene as inviting to new players as possible. And as these guys said, streamlining a number of things, taking a lot of things off the sideline, can really kind of introduce a lot of newer players into what competitive play is like if there's less of that kind of stuff. And I get that. It's kind of a balancing beam, On one hand, you want us using as much of our collection as we possibly can, so we buy more figures. I agree with that 100%. On the other hand, if you want to bring in new players to competitive play, you've made a lot of moves and strides towards that, breaking down certain walls. You got to break down those walls where people kind of look at it and go, hold on a second, you just did 8 different things and I don't understand any of them. And I want to be able to just turn to my players and say 300 points modern. Nobody's overwhelmed with what's going on. And just everything is as easy as reading the card, which we like to think it's that easy, but sometimes it isn't. So I would like, and the problem is because there's, like Devon said, like 3.5 years in modern.
Yeah.
Every set's going to be, it has introduced anything in modern. What our prayer for that is actually at best going to happen in 21 or 2022. So a movement towards that in 2020 would be the ideal way to go. And I think Clix effects aren't overly complicated, and because they come with the figures, it's simple enough. So while I like the idea, and I'm going to go back to this because I think I say it every year. While I like the idea of the bystander tokens being put on the back of the action tokens, that's great, but you got to stop putting the shiny stickers on it and just pack them with the figures instead. Do we remember how beautiful Rick Jones was with those cardboard pogs that came with it?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Can we just do that?
Just Nightwing LE came with his little dude.
There was the Dormammu that came with the mindless one token, I think.
Yeah.
Look, I understand why they're putting them on the tokens because they want to make sure that we buy all the token and dice packs. Because a lot of people are, oh, well, I already got dice and I already have tokens and these are my lucky ones. So putting the bystander on there, I get that. But it's the shiny stuff. It's like I can't look at this thing. So you've put it on there like you want me to buy it, but then what is the point of me buying it if no one can read the figure on it, the bystander on it? It's pointless. I don't get it at all.
Just give me a second here. I'm trolling back in the Metal Lab chat.
Sure.
All right. Yeah, it's not a well designed idea.
Yeah. That said, is there anything else you guys want to add or no? So our deep wish. Oh, sorry, Devon. Looks like you got something.
I want a Invaders Human Torch, the Golem, the robot one.
Cool. Yeah, I'd be game for that.
Yeah,
Captain America: The Avengers.
Yeah, we can do that again. We haven't because he's been under the radar because of the Fantastic Four thing, I guess. That's all.
All right. With that, we're probably going to just move into questions from this point. Our thoughts in 2020, our wishes at best. This is more of a Dear Santa, I want a pony questions. I mean, I'm sure if anybody is listening and over at WizKids, I'm sure you've already got your 2020 plan. So maybe 2021, who knows? But I still want Dr. Doom's baby. I want all the good ones. All right. So, before we move on to our questions, I want to thank our patrons over at patreon.com/MadeWithClicks. You guys are wonderful. You keep the premiere coming, and that's probably actually going to come to an end. I'm going to have to find things to spend my Patreon money on other than these guys and your action tokens that I send out. So, we're looking into how we're going to kind of refocus the budget on the Patreon next year, and I will be sharing that probably towards the end of the year in the Patreon Discord. If you want to be part of that, just join us at patreon.com/MadeWithClicks. Gets you in that, and as well as our monthly patron hangout, which we moved to the first Friday of the month at 8:30 p.m. Was actually quite fun. We had a few new patrons join in. We'll see. We'll give that a couple months run, and we'll see how that continues to go. Though I do like my Friday workouts sometimes, guys. That said, we'll start with the patrons, as a matter of fact. Actually, we won't, because this was a really weird question I don't think we're really capable of discussing in regards to Virgin Galactic and Qantas flights. Yeah, no, we're not going to address that. But our Alpha and likely to be our Omega patron, Michael Fedor, has a number of questions over on the Facebook, facebook.com/MadeWithClicks. We post a question post every week for this show, so if you want to join in on that, or if you're watching live, check us out in the chat. Capital letters question in front of your questions if you have anything you want us to answer. So the first one comes from Michael. He says, "Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. What is your opinion on the purchasing of rock prizes like neoprene maps on the secondary market when the purchaser didn't get to go to a rock event?" I mean, prizes are going to be purchased. Weekly, monthly OP kits, they get purchased by people. I don't care if anybody doesn't go to an event. There was a time when I was younger and early in the game where it was like, you didn't go to that event, you bought that figure. And then I would cross my arms and be like, okay, but let's continue to play the game. And just, if people want access to things, they get access to things. Because ultimately, the other thing about these rock maps, too, is that Lucky Dice makes them available like very shortly after the tournament run. So if you want to order them from Lucky Dice Games, you can do that, too. So you're not really walled. It's not really a wall of, you got to go to the rock event to do it. I don't know. Anybody gonna disagree with me there, Mike or Devon?
No, it's about patience anyway. If someone is that uptight and desperately, hi Amber, tell Amber chookity.
Mike says chookity.
Like if you wanna pay the extra and you care that much about getting that map and you're that desperate, like go ahead. Just like you said, especially they're gonna make them the paper version of those maps down the line anyway in most cases. And to be honest, I like the neoprene maps like in theory, and they look cool and they feel cool, but storing them and carrying them is a bit of a pain in the butt sometimes. And I don't know what it is. My dice bounce like crazy on them and never in a good way. So I kind of prefer using the paper ones now anyway. Sorry. But like you said, people are going to buy what people are going to buy. Like, I mean, the whole secondary market is kind of out of control to begin with. Like, let's not delude ourselves into thinking somehow that we're not completely overpaying for these small pieces of plastic. Like, the retail price is already an inflated price, guys. Like it's nuts. It's completely nuts.
Yeah. Devon, do you want to chime in, or are you good on just get your stuff however you feel like it?
I guess not a huge fan of rock maps, but yeah, if you're willing to pay that price, you want to play with those tournament heavy maps ahead of time, go buy it. It's what you'll need. Say our WizKids legal.
I do have to say one of the big beautiful moments, or one of the beautiful things about the rock maps and the neoprene maps in general, they're wonderful to film on. They don't collect any light in the background.
Glare. Totally, yeah.
Yeah, I like the ones from the Marvel Cinematic Universe they made like 2 years ago.
The premium maps that WizKids just made, the generic kind of things.
No, the rock ones. They made
the
Thanos, from Infinity War.
Oh.
And they had the Infinity War one. They had the Guardians of the Galaxy mountain.
Cool.
Crash Landing page. Those were fun.
If I didn't have to take them with me places, they'd be great.
Yeah.
If I could just, only ever play in my house, people are always at my house, it'd be great.
And the state championship Wakanda shield one, where the shields are breaking down.
Yep.
Those were fun.
All right. Did the place in Montreal that you guys went to a couple months ago ever get straightened out with the prizes? I'm going to say kinda. Sort of, but not perfectly. They ran an event at the CNE, and a number of us in Toronto were able to get out there and get some degree of our prizing. I don't know if it worked for any other players or anything like that. I mean, I walked out with maybe 3 Mandarin rings, all of which I already had. Because I just didn't play in events there. The room was super hot, and I was miserable and already unhappy about the fact that we were playing with old stuff in order to get the old prizes. It was a rough situation for me. So
was this like a con in the store situation?
It was not. Yeah, what ended up happening is at Canadian Nationals, they got last year's prizing in their shipment. Not this year's prizing for Canadian National. So as a result, we were stuck playing with last year's prizes and battle royales, and that's all we were getting for the prize kits and whatnot. And that included like ID cards and stuff. So no Mandarin rings until much later. And then they ran an event in the CNE, and they, we, with a little bit of emailing, I was able to get a friend to pick up stuff for me because I wasn't going out to the CNE to do anything. So, thanks Aiden for grabbing mine and Amber's extra pricing, which amounted to a couple Mandarin rings, no figures or anything like that.
Yeah, like Devon and myself, we got our big stuff, like the chase and prime prize stuff and the set stuff there, but they had none of this year's cons because we're supposed to get a complete set of this year's cons and the complete set of rings. They had none of that. So Devon and I didn't get any of that at Nationals. We had to arrange to get it later on. So like in Jason's case, I had a friend who was actually going, Emily, and Emily was able to pick up my missing prize stuff for me so that I didn't have to go to the CNE and try and pick it up because I didn't have the time to really do it. Yeah. So it got mostly resolved, like Jason said, but in the case of like people who went and competed in battle royals to win stuff, that'd be super rough. Yeah,
because that's the thing. They didn't compensate for people who played in battle royales. So really, when we were playing battle royales, we were playing for Black Panther chases if we happened to pull them. So
That's too bad.
yeah. But he does go on. Would a player who is using a team that runs heavily on barriers be seen as unsportsmanlike to just seal themselves in a room or corner somewhere? Is this a stall tactic and frowned upon? It's a defensive tactic. I wouldn't call it unsportsmanlike. It's that whole situation. It's hard to deal with. I get that. It's frustrating as heck to deal with even. But I would never call it unsporting or anything like that, because if it was unsportsmanlike, the rules wouldn't allow it. So the rules allow it. Just we have to kind of find our ways around it, and it's not like this is a new strategy. This is a strategy that goes from day one of HeroClix. Playing against multiple Scarlet Witches was not unseen. Yeah. So
Iron Pharaoh.
Yeah.
Structural integrity field.
Yeah. So
I hate the tactic.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna. I agree with what you're saying, that it's within the rules, so it's not unsportsmanlike because it's within the rules. You're not breaking the rules. You're not cheating. But I think it's the antithesis of the game, because you're not really playing. You're sitting in a corner and you're putting up walls and you're not doing anything. If you're sitting in a corner and you're able to attack from that corner and you're doing things and you're protecting your team as you're doing it, then you've created a strategy that's very difficult to deal with. But if your strategy is to just put up walls and sit out a 15-minute, 45-minute game, well, you're not really playing the game. And to me, that's just lame. That's just completely lame. But it's not unsportsmanlike.
No.
Devon?
You don't find it as common anymore with everything that can destroy walls. I mean, just this team, you might have fun going like, you'll never hit me, and then you'll face a juggernaut and you just die.
It's like, not gonna hit who? I'm the juggernaut, bitch.
So which one just did a barrier there? I'll kill that one, and then I'll kill the next one, and
I'll
the
knock
next
him
one
back
after that.
into his barrier.
Yeah. Or just this, like a Cyclops call in.
Yeah.
Shoot through blocking. It just doesn't happen as often as like when Iron Pharaoh was around a Scarlet Witch. You just barrier in the back and attack. Yeah. So I'd say it's fine. There's even like mobile barrier teams with like that JSA Green Lantern.
Yeah.
It can be fun. And with all the WWE stuff where you can bounce people off of walls in the direction you want, you can have some fun with it.
Yeah. It's one of those things. It's hard to differentiate what's, when you're very early in the game or not quite understanding of things, is like what's bad sportsmanship and what's just hard to deal with. And this falls under just hard to deal with. Where if there's a problem you could run into with it, and I'm not going to accuse anybody of this, it's when they do stuff like this, but take exceptionally long turns to only barrier. Or they take exceptionally long turns to do nothing. That would be what I call like stalling, and that's something you can call a judge for and be like, "Yo, what's going on here, brah?"
Yeah.
He doesn't need to spend 5 minutes to put up his barriers again.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta make sure that I'm putting him in the right square and that this figure. No.
Yeah. No. And then on the same note, though, I've also had turns in games where I've kind of turned around and said, I could do this, but then I expose myself to this. I'm going to do this. But I'm kind of pointing out my thought process, and I go, nope, sorry. I took too long to just say I'm going to bury you the same way. I've done that in certain situations, but it's never to the degree of, being a dink.
You're not going to do it every turn, though.
No, exactly.
That's the point. Like, if you thought about it and you looked and you realized, oh, it's not going to work, you figured out what you need to do to make it work. Mm-hmm. And from then on, you should theoretically not be doing that again. Yeah. If you do it again, then clearly you are now using that as some kind of stall tactic.
Yeah. So, yeah. Oddly enough, I believe that just about covers it, unless you want to talk about the idea of Virgin Galactic versus Qantas Project Sunrise, but I don't think it's really something we're going to address.
That's a space shuttle, right?
Yeah, those are
Flying
the
space.
Yeah, the pleasure space cruises, as they were. Again, not HeroClix related, so
yeah, no, that's fine.
All right, that's all right. It's 10:30. We've been for an hour. We managed to make something out of nothing. So I want to thank
Story of our lives.
Exactly. It's like, I can't tell you how many times we've had this show and we've gone, there's nothing to talk about. And we have found a way to make at minimum an hour-long show. So I want to thank everybody for watching. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Devon, for helping me out. Next week will be the year-end show where we talk about the year in review of 2019. Looking forward to that. We've given everybody the topics that we're going to talk about, and hopefully it shows up to be, or turns out to be really good. Hopefully, if these guys have any other things they want to talk about, they email me with it. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
I'm doing homework and everything.
He was saying he was taking notes.
I'm taking notes. It's great.
And of course, if you have suggestions, throw them in the comments below. If you're watching in the archive, or email us marriedwithclicks@gmail.com. Tweet them at us. If you're a patron, join us on the Patreon Discord, and you can join the Patreon by joining us at patreon.com/marriedwithclicks. Also want to thank our longtime sponsors over at majesticccg.com/JPEX-Insiders. I apologize for that. Great minds play this game. Great minds share their thought process, and they do so on the Majestics Apex Insiders website. Majestics is also running their own Bronze Age format, which is a pretty cool format. It's kind of like a version of Golden Age, is more controlled. So, take a look into what they're running over there, and that opens up the discussion to further direction for them. So again, that's $3 a month. It gives you access to the Great Brains, but Majestic site in general has some free content as well. So take a look at them, see what's up over there. But we're heading into the end of the year. Results has happened in Chicago. Take a look at some of those teams. Some of those teams are pretty cool. Hellfire Club made the top 8. So think about what's out there. There's a brand new game ahead. There's a whole new year coming forward. And all that, those juicy ideas are best put on the table and practice, because practice will make your team better. Have a good night, everybody.